What's up, guys? I've got an open challenge here with an opponent rated 1134. Thought it might give me the 3 points I need to hit 1500. It doesn't. It's a 214. Okay, so we're going to play a Vienna game, and this is a 15-minute game, so there's no increment, and we are focusing on good stuff. The Zhuravlev Countergambit. This is spicy. Spicy as you like. Okay, so what I'm working on right now is I'm going to treat my opponent as though he's stronger than me. I'm going to pay him all due respect. I'm going to try and bury the knife up to the hilt if I get the opportunity. And I'm going to work quite hard on not dropping the old trousers. Okay, so now I've got... and now, you see, he's just taken away from the centre. So my B pawn is now my D pawn. And I have this strong centre. Okay. And now we have options. There are a few things that we could do. I could take there, which would invite his queen out into the board, and that would be weakening for white. I could push forward and avoid the tension in the centre, which might be okay. I mean, it does take away this natural development square for his knight. So pawn to e5 is often a good move. So I'm going to consider that move. Other ideas could be, for example, bring my queen out to here, or my bishop out to here to defend the pawn. So that, let's say, for example, bishop d3, it's probably the better of the two, and pawn takes, bishop takes. So I'm just checking, because this bishop actually blocks the queen's defense, but pawn takes, bishop takes, queen is now defending that again, and I have a piece in the middle of the board, which also ties down his bishop to this pawn, because my bishop will then be attacking that pawn. And I've got a piece out. That's the key thing. Queen here, queen out, I'm not so excited about, because, well, I suppose if takes, my queen is defending this pawn again. I think bishop d3 looks jolly good, because then that doesn't stop me from playing e5 in the future. However, we always have to consider this idea as well. But then I haven't moved the f-pawn, so it's no biggie. Bishop here. If the queen comes out here, she's attacking that pawn twice, but then I can just push it forward. So I'm going to play bishop to d3. Opponent is Chandra4488. And that little avatar there looks like Marvin of the more recent Hitchhiker's movie. I don't like this at all. I think this is a poor idea. I'm inclined to play e5 now, for sure. I think knight f3 is also very playable. Let's consider the move pawn to f4. Queen comes out with check. I have g3. Pawn to f4 is aggressive, eh? So what's he got? Queen out here. I have g3, hitting the queen, defending the pawn. Happy days. And then the knight can come out. I am tempted. So e5. e5 is an idea. Makes life hard for his knight. Stakes a claim on the centre. Other thoughts. This bishop, I don't know. Bishop a3. It's not like he's about to castle anyway, is it? And, you know, if this knight was to come out, I might pin it and then hit it. So that's an idea. But if I play f4, I don't have that as an option. So is knight f3 good, or is it pawn to e5? I should be trying to castle, however... Or this, takes, queen comes out, queen's then attacking this, no. I'm liking pawn to e5, I'm going to play it. I think he's given me a tempo here with that very quiet a6 move. But this is fascinating. Okay, he's attacking this pawn. I have c3. just building up my pawn centre. I have knight f3 defending the pawn. It's generally better to defend a pawn with a pawn if you can, rather than a piece, because, for example, he can come out here with his bishop, pin my knight to my queen, and then he can take that for free. So why not just finish the dark square pawn chain here? This knight we know has problems. If the knight comes out here, there we go. So the knight's been, that's a concession. Now I'm thinking queen out is a thought. Queen out prevents castling, because queen takes h7 would be checkmate. We like doing checkmate, don't we, boys and girls? Bishop out here is a thought. But again, that bishop doesn't have to move yet. I'm thinking queen out and then maybe knight to f3. Or should we consider f4 again? Can we consider f4 again? f4, f5 would be attacked twice on there, but not defended twice. Here, I'm even threatening, like, bishop takes there, for example. It would pin my own bishop on the queen, that's the issue. Or do I need to give him an opportunity to castle? See, if I play f4 now, yes, it cuts off this bishop, you know, swings and roundabouts. f4, I don't know. I like the aggressive nature of this move. f4, knight f3, short castles. I like. Huh. Okay, if bishop takes me, queen takes, free development for queen. Knight f3 looks very obvious. Yep. Oh, I mean, the only I'm not going to take him, because then he gets to improve his knight, moves it towards the centre, much more aggressive square. G4 is even a thought. I mean, G4, takey, pushy push, and suddenly I'm ramming pawns down his throat, aren't I? It is my good bishop, but there's not a lot I can do. I mean, I could move it to e2. Let us consider e2. In the cold light of day. e2 and then g4. I mean, this is pawn addict stuff from me now, though, isn't it? Now, I think develop is correct. I think knight f3 is correct. If takes, recapture, and I am better. I am just better. This is maybe arguably his better knight, but because this knight is hampered by dark squared control, or the dark square control that I have. This knight is on a dark square, but it's only light square is there, and that's not brill. Okay, so next my plan is castles, unless we first trade. Oh no, I don't like that. Okay, my immediate thought is castles, but we are also working on not immediately snatching our first thought. But I think it's right. I think it is the right thing to do here, because the rook will defend the knight. My queen is then free to move. Yep. Castles is a good thing generally. I think queen e1 now looks very likely. Is it, what are you doing? You can't go there, or there, or there, because bishop takes. Is that your right? Queen e1 now. Yes, queen e1. This is a thought. I mean, queen is defending the bishop. Is that the idea of that move? Just wants to defend his bishop. Possible. Oh, he's only gone a long castled. He's only gone a long castle. Right, knight here, I have a threat of knight takes f7, forking both rooks. This is an issue when you long castle. When you short castle, right, this rook ends up here and this rook's still over there, so they're on different coloured squares. When you long castle, this rook goes 1, 2, 3 jumps and ends up on a dark square. I mean, this rook also ends up on a dark square, but then that rook is on a light square. So, but here they're on the same colour and forkable by a knight. I have this semi-open B file, which I'm happy about. I have knight in here, which is a threat, covers light squares as well, which makes life hard for his remaining bishop. I have bishop out here, pinning knight on rook, pawn up me. That would fork. Well, it wouldn't fork. Oh, it would technically fork. This isn't a move because it's attacked 3 times. Don't know, this feels like a bit one-dimensional. Because all he has to do is like move this rook and he's defending both his pawns, and then what? Rook here. Push pawn. Attacking queen. If pawn takes, knight takes. Let's say there's rooks here, I'm attacking his rook then, aren't I? And I've got a knight right in his face. This is also a good move. I'm going to play that now. I'm going to keep this in my pocket. There, rook here. Blimey, that bishop's having a busy day of it, isn't he? Queen here now. Yeah, I'm not going to invite his knight into the game. We don't want that at all. I think just queen here. I've got the option then of for example, this with the mating threat. Knight here still, I think, works. Rook across, pawn up, takes. Knight takes. But then my light square bishop could become evil there. There. Go for push. Then his bishop would be hanging. Okay, come on. Past the liquid evil. Let's do this. Bishop takes there. Pawn takes. Queen takes check. Forced checkmate. If he fails to do something here, this is really quite forcing. Okay, he's done it. Okay, so bets are off on that one. That's a shame, because that was a nice attack. Oh, and now he wants to swap off queens as well. Ah, that's actually not a bad move, because I can't defend my rook. I can defend my queen with a rook. That's an idea, but then I'll be putting a rook kind of out of action there. He's also attacking an undefended pawn. I think I just have to trade. So, let's recap. We've just lost some stuff. I'm attacking this defended only by king. I have a dark squared pawn chain in the middle of the board, and I have a dark squared bishop, which ain't ideal. My bishop does have a way round all of that, so that looks like a decent move. His knight might want to come into my position, so I'm kind of inclined to maybe move my king here, or I think king up makes sense. Okay, 4.5 minutes. Charlie Boy here is on 12 minutes. I still have this idea. And now I don't. Okay, so I think it's time to bring my bishop around, just so that it's controlling more squares, that's all. Knight can't come in there. I might push a pawn up. Again, I'll happily allow him to take here. Okay. Undefended. He's doing all right here, though. Got g4. Knight cannot proceed. Can't go there. You can only go back to here or back to here. And either way, I'm just going to try and crush him up against the wall. Okay, I've got h3, I've got king g3. I think king g3. Push would be nice. But push takes. I think my A pawn might need to swing into action at some point. My hunch is D takes. I mean, this opens up. This does control the centre, and I'm controlling this square. So maybe that's all right, actually. I like the fact that I've got my bishop staring down at that square, and my knight may have ideas of its own. For example, that pawn is undefended right now. So I can't do that. H4 is a thought. Shall I double up rooks? Try and force a concession on the queen side of the board, where his king is. I want the action area to be over here. He's always got this blunder. If I move my knight, that knight hangs. I'd like to move that knight with a threat, though. And I don't really have one right now. Okay, what are you doing there? Defending, huh? Does he want to come in here? Okay, I'm going to move my knight here, ostensibly to defend this square, but I've got a discovered attack against that knight. Let's see if Chandra notices. Down to 3 minutes 26. He's noticed. He has noticed. Okay. So now I can attack this knight. If he goes here, I might trade off, because, yeah, doubles his pawns a bit and does weaken. However, my bishop's now looking a little bit wonky. Okay, I'm just going to move my rook to give my bishop an escape. Okay, now his knight's coming in again. Okay, attack this pawn. He can easily defend with this rook or with this rook. This is undefended. How can I put pressure on here? That. If he pushes his pawn, could be good. I want to encourage these... Oh, look. Okay, he's beaten me to it. Okay, but now this surely hangs, yeah? You can't trap my bishop. Okay, that hangs. Rooks on 7th could be lovely. Alright, now, A4 just feels normal. I have to move quickly now. Okay, knight is doing a job here. Knight's covering that. Okay, back comes the bishop. I could have actually come in there, but then this. I don't know. Oh, my bishop would like to be on this square. Here, here. Rooks. Hang on. Here, here. Rook, bishop back to there. If rook takes rook, bishop takes rook, attacks knight. How about this then? Attacks pawn, and he can't defend the pawn with his knight. And if this knight should ever move, excuse me, dogs are waking up. Well, that was noisy. Okay, so he's moved his rook to defend this pawn. I think it's the only way he could really have done it. He can't bring in his second rook because of the pawn, and he can't bring in his knight because of both rooks. So, there we go, he loses the pawn. I think I can take. Alright, now. He's not really threatening anything. This, and he doesn't have a check, I'm pinning the knight on the rook, which is undefended. Now I'm threatening to play h5 and attack the pin piece. I'm 2 pawns up at this point in time. I'm 2 minutes 22 on the clock. Okay. But that I don't think works because it's this rook that was undefended. Okay, so Come on, Hunty. Time for tactics, and we can't hang around. I think this wins material. And I do fancy my chances against an 1100 in the end game. But I tell you what, he's played jolly well so far, but this is not the time. 2 minutes 19, not the time to take your foot off the gas. What we want to do is we want to simplify, we want to get a winning pawn majority. Now, interestingly, he has 4 pawns on A, B and C. 4. So we've got to be a bit careful. He can't move the knight with check, which is important. Whatever he does with this knight, I'm likely to capture that rook if he moves it. If he doesn't move it, he loses it. And then I'm always going to trade off. Any opportunity to trade rooks, I'm going to take. I want to simplify the board. I want to... This is my big advantage. Gary and Harry. Okay, I'm going to take with the rook because I want to tradey trade. And I'm going to pre-move the recapture because he's got to. He's got to take one. I'm attacking both of his rooks, right? Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to do this. If he trades rooks, he dies. I can push this pawn because it's defended by the bishop. I can also just slide my king up the board. Let's slide the king up the board. His only hope is to try and force... That's not going to work. I might play my bishop here, actually. Ah, and he resigns. Oh, well. That was very good. I think you did very well there. Yes, 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 good game. And the eval says that I'm plus 12 at this point, so... Whew, that was a lot of work for 2 points, wasn't it? I'm now on 1499. 1499 in Rapid and 1500 in Blitz. There we go. So we don't hit 1500 in both just yet. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon.